Hi everyone, welcome to the child psychology class. As you all are the students of Montessori and Yas Academy, you have a paper in psychology that is child psychology. I'll be the mentor for you. I'm Sumaya, working as a psychologist in school in Al Ain in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Okay, so I wish to lead you through how the teacher can help the children in their classrooms, in their learning, in their behavior development, in their cognitive development, in all the aspect of development, how a teacher can support a child. That is what we are get to know through learning child psychology. Right. So let's see what this exactly child psychology is. It is a branch of psychology that focus on the study of children's mental, emotional, and behavior development from infancy through adolescence. Infancy stands for from the period a child born means 0 to 2 years of age. Okay, so from that time onwards until they do reach adolescent period, how are they uh, behaving, how their emotions are growing, how their mental process are going on. All that what focus of the field of branch of psychology, which is child psychology. Okay, and it explores how children grow, learn, and interact with their environment, as well as how various factors such as genetics, family dynamics, culture, and societal influences impact their development. In our course period, we do have two part for our child psychology paper, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will carry some topics and part 2 will carry some other topics. Let us see what all we are going to learn in part 1 of child psychology paper. We'll have totally 5 units there. In unit 1, we will see what is psychology. As we haven't learned psychology as a paper until now in our education, it's always better and it is mandatory for anyone who is entering into the profession of teaching to know the psychology of the children. Right. So that is what first we are learning what is psychology as an introduction to all what we are going to learn. And in the second unit, in educational psychology, we will learn um, how they will be able to learn in different specific age, when they have to be taught, what they have to be taught, what type of facilities we should be providing to them for a better learning environment. All what we will learn in educational psychology, and what is the important of educational psychology, and also what do educational psychology aims. Okay, then we will have child development, means from the time of infancy onwards, as they are growing up. When are they starting to develop their specific reflexes, specific type of movements, motor activities, gross motor skills, and their like cognition and their mental development, their fine motor skill development, all type of development regarding even their language development, all we will discuss in child development. Moving into the physical and motor development, it's exclusively focusing on what is the importance of Montessori, means engaging them in playway method of learning, and engaging them through the various activities that they will be interested in, even though those who are lacking the motivation, those who lack the motivation for studies, how can we motivate through some specific physical and motor activities. That all we will discuss in the unit 4. Then in unit 5, the socio-emotional development of the child. means it will be how they will be forming their cognition and perception when they do interact with their peer group, uh, and also when they interact with the teacher, and what all we need to give them and how we need to support them for their better socio-emotional development, and also how can we guide the parents of the child to improve this better. So that all we will be discussing in Unit 5. Okay, moving into Part 2, we will have a unit starting from 6 to 10. Again, 5 units here. So in Part 2, the sixth unit is the starting unit, which is language development. How children are learning languages, and is there any problem if we try to include multiple languages? If a child is exposed to multiple languages, how are they going to get mm, difficulty in their language development? We know that some children are talking at their earlier age itself, but some are still lacking a very good communication with others. So how is it getting affected? So what are the factors? As a teacher, how can we support them? All we will discuss in Unit 6. In Unit 7, it is their complete cognitive development, passing from infancy to the early childhood, to the later childhood, and to the adolescent period. How their cognition is getting developed. Cognition means actually the process of knowing. Even how is it getting developed? How their thinking process is designed? How is it getting devised? All we will discuss in Unit 7. And in Unit 8, it's basically our needs that we are going to discuss. Means uh, as a person or as a human being, what are our basic needs? What if we satisfy our basic needs, what will be our next level of need? And if that is also satisfied, what is the another expected level of needs, like that? So that is what the complete discussion in Unit 8 needs. And in Unit 9, it's a very wonderful topic, that is defense mechanism. Here in defense mechanism, it's all about how our ego will uh, devise our mm, actions and our thoughts when we are facing any anxiety provoking situations in our life, to escape from the reality or distorting the reality, we can say there are so many ways. It's really interesting. So that is what we will discuss in Unit 9. And in Unit 10, it is individual differences. As we know, all of us are different each other, right? I'm different from you, you are different from your parents are different from your siblings, they are different from their elder ones or younger ones in their family, in the blood relation. Apart from that, even if we look into anybody, the whole world is full of differences, individual differences. We have something in common still. More than common, we do have differences. That is what our discussion that we plan to have in Unit 10. So this is how our child psychology lessons will be categorized into part 1 and part 2. So in part 1, it is what is psychology. From there onwards, we will be discussing um, what is uh, educational psychology, what is child development, how does their physical and motor development occurs, and how do they socially and emotionally develop. And in part 2, we will be discussing language development, cognitive development, needs, defense mechanism, and individual difference. So in order to learn all those content, we need to know what exactly psychologists mean onwards. You know, the word psychology actually derived from two Greek words. One is psych. Psych meaning soul. We know we all have soul, right? So psych mean soul. Then it's logos. Logos stands for the word science. So according to Greek, psych meaning soul and log meaning science. Logos. Okay. So combining these two words, psych and logos, the word psychology derived. So that is how the word psychology derived. Okay. And how can we define psychology? According to the latest study, psychology is defined as a science which studies our mental processes, our experiences, and behavior in different contexts. As you see, the word psychology derived from the psych and meaning, which means science of soul. It was completely studying about our uh, mind first, and from there it got so much evolution. We are not looking into that. That we will look specifically later in some other content. Okay, so just to be reminded about the definition or what is there in psychology, it's completely about our mental processes, our experiences, and our behavior in different contexts. Okay, then and in this definition, we have seen the words mental processes, experiences, behavior, different contexts, right? So the mental processes are our state of consciousness, or we can say it's our awareness. Means it is internal to each and every one of us. It's internal. We cannot say that person is like that, this person is like this. No, we cannot say it because it is internal. What is their internal? It's very hard in fact to know. So that are what mental experiences. But what is mean by experiences are feelings and thoughts. That is again internal and also subjective in nature. In a specific situation, it will not be the same way that everyone will be feeling and everyone will be thinking. That is what the basic of this experiences. Moving into the behavior, we know, right? We do have different types of behavior, means our like approach to something else or to some people, we will say. So this behavior, when we scrutinize, we can understand there are mainly two category of behaviors. One is observable actions, means observable actions or reaction of a living organism, that is called overt action or overt behavior, means it can be seen outwardly. And there is another type of behavior, that is covert actions, or we can say covert behavior. They are internal to everyone, others cannot see it. So the main difference between the overt and covert behaviors are overt behavior can be understood by others, and this covert behavior is very difficult for others to understand since it's not seen outwardly. And I can give you the examples. If a person is angry and expressing love and all, it's easy for us to understand their behavior. But if a person is keeping hatred and jealous in their mind and keeping the right opposite face, then it's really hard for us to understand what is their exact behavior is. I think that you got the point. That is what the behavior. Different context is simply stands for different culture, different cultural context. It will not be the same culture everywhere. Even we know that in our small Malappuram itself, we do have different culture in different parts of the Malappuram district, and also that is entirely different from other districts as we are moving into. And also again while the difference is they're moving into the nearby states and nearby countries, right? So that is what a cultural context stands for. However, in the field of psychology, the professional practice or researcher is called a psychologist. Okay, a professional practitioner or a researcher is called a psychologist, and the psychologists are always trying to understand the role of mental functions in individual, their social behavior. Also, they are exploring psychological and biological processes underlying the cognitive functions and behavior of the people. Okay, now the psychology is a discipline. Actually, we know that psychologist, to become a psychologist, the person have to go to learn the discipline psychology. The psychology discipline can be classified into two, or we can consider it as two. Like it can be considered as a natural science, as well as it can be considered as a social science. You know why? Since we people are, or the psychology is learning the people in their social context, and the people are considered as social being, so psychology is a part of social science. Psychology as a social science discipline focuses on humans as a social being. Then it can also be considered as natural science, as I said. Why? Because it conduct controlled experiments in laboratory in order to support their basic assumptions and to develop theories. These theories are applied in the context that people will be helped out of it. So there will be two group of psychologists. One group of psychologists will always be working upon the experiments and development of theories, and other group of psychologists will be always applying these developed theories to support the community or to support another people. Okay, this is all about the field of psychology. In fact, to know the psychology, we need to understand what is the difference between our mind and brain. We need to understand our mind and brain. We know that we do have brain. Where is our mind? Is it along with the brain? Can we see it? No, right? Our mind always hidden. We cannot see our mind. We cannot assess the mind, but it is internal to the experiencing person. But the brain, which can be seen, which can be assessed, with the help of brain, our mind is working, right? When we have good thoughts in our mind, our brain will be healthier. And also, the brain and the mind are interdependent, even though are separate. We know brain is separate and mind is separate. With brain can be seen means a physical thing where the mind is not. Still, they are interdependent. They do depend each other. Brain need always the support of mind. Mind need the base of the brain and the support and working of the brain. Got it. So that's all. Uh, for today that I want to just give you an introduction to the psychology and to the child psychology as well. Thank you for listening to me. Again, I'm reminding you myself. I'm Sumaya, your mentor for child psychology paper. I'm a psychologist in Align from 2017 onwards. Inshallah, we will look into our lessons in detail from our next class onwards. Thank you for listening to me, my dears. Take care. Bye bye.